Hello everyone, Anina Malherbe-Lan back for VIVIDEARTH for a quick update. South Africa made the news this weekend, late this weekend actually, when Trump announced that he's cutting all aid to South Africa and that there are terrible things happening in South Africa. Everyone is freaking out, and actually this thing has been brewing. It didn't just appear this past weekend. It's been brewing a little bit over this past week, a buildup of a narrative, something that we see now quite often. And I find it super interesting, but I am a little irritated with so many commentators in South Africa that just really don't know what they're talking about and grasping at straws. So it's it's not even fun to watch. It's actually just a bit irritating, to be quite honest. So, you can't deny that all these things are so perfectly planned. Okay. It's just like lockstep. It's just after the tariffs were imposed on Canada and Mexico by Trump. And that's what he uses as a bargaining tool, right? He normally gets what he wants. But it's not about Trump here. People don't understand. It's not about Trump at all. There's a much bigger operation in the background to rid the planet of the cabal. Okay. And they're controlling many nations. And it's not about Trump being the savior, people freaking out. He's no savior and he's no savior of ours. And no, he's not. But he is the front person for this Earth Alliance that have been working in the background. I mean, if you do the work, if you do the research, if you connect the dots, you will see that this is happening in the background. And it has been for years. In fact, it's part of a 60+ year really operation, but something that picked up speed over the last 8 to 10 years. So yeah, suffice to say, the ones that know what's going on and believe what is going on is not just living on hopium. We've done the research, guys. We've gone down the rabbit holes. We've connected the dots. We've done the critical thinking. We've looked at law and orders. We've looked at facts. We've looked at so many different things. It is what does Sarge call it? It is, I forgot, it's out of my head now, but basically dot connectors. Okay. We follow all the rabbit holes and then mix in a good amount of intuition to get to the end result. So, what is happening here is it's like a bit of theater. Okay. In my opinion, Ramaphosa has a new puppet master. Okay. Let's just call it capitulation. He's doing what he needs to do to expose all the corruption in South Africa bit by bit. So it's all going to be unfolding in the coming weeks and months. And yes, it's not always going to be fun, but those of us that are in the know, we're not concerned. We're actually excited because things are moving in the right direction. Corruption is going to be exposed. I mean, for this whole land expropriation thing to just be making the mainstream news again over the last couple of days is no accident. It literally is no accident. If you've gone down the rabbit hole, you will see how it all falls into place in perfect timing. So it is South Africa's turn, okay, to be put in the spotlight, to be shown the corruption that's been going on. And I know there's a lot. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. But this is the start. And through international relations, the pressure will be put on our country to rid it of its corruption. And it's not just USAID that will be stopped. There's a lot more. There's AGOA that could be threatened. That's the trade agreement that we have with the US. And let's face it, the US won't feel anything because they're not really, we don't export that much to the US, but we will feel it. Businesses will feel it. Individuals will feel it. The country will feel it. The economy will feel it. It's going to be affected in a big way. So this will be used as a bargaining tool. In my humble opinion, I believe that CYRIL Ramaphosa has new masters, and those masters are the White Hat Alliance. Why do I say that? Why does it all bring this up all of a sudden? Okay. You can just sense over the last couple of weeks and months, he hasn't said much that have made sense. It is almost as if he's controlled, but he's almost like emasculated, embarrassing himself, showing how much of a failure he is. If the New World Order really wanted to kind of clamp down and get a total grip on this country, they wouldn't have played that card in that way. And so for me, it's just very coincidental that it's happening all in perfect timing. It's kind of clear to me that CYRIL is being asked to say certain things that are going to lead to the exposure of corruption in this country. And I, for one, am very excited because I've been following this truth movement around the world for 5 years plus now. And I can't tell you how many thousands of hours of research I have done and many others have done. And we are a global network around the world that compare notes. Got friends in very different places around the world, many of them in the US, in the military, ex-military, the Marines, the, psychics, people that are so diverse. Okay. So if this operation was going to be controlled, I wouldn't have seen this much narrative control across such a diverse network of connections and informants. Okay, so this gives me, all of the research that I've done just gives me a lot of peace of mind because South Africa's turn is up. It's our turn. And it's going to escalate and it's going to expose and it's going to put the country in a very tight spot to make certain changes that it needs to make for the people to thrive. A lot of people are very negative about Trump. Unfortunately, as much as they think they are awake, they also have Trump derangement syndrome. Why? Because they're falling for mainstream media and lies, even though they propose not to be listening to mainstream media. So, but you must understand there's a lot of infiltrators in the movement, there's a lot of double agents, there's a lot of controlled opposition, and it is people that we've respected for the most part, for those even that are awake. So we're coming to realize just how much, how many nuances there are to this movement, how much infiltration there are. But the good thing is that we kind of know how this ends. We kind of know how this all is going to unfold. And I'm not worried. I'm not worried one bit. I think we are set for a golden future. And there's many, many different indicators that convince me of such. Too many to even list here and to go through. But I just wanted to bring this very quickly to you guys. I think there's a lot of people that are very badly informed and just not very, I hate to say it, but not very sharp. So just cut through the clutter, guys. It's such a waste of time listening to many of these people. Sometimes I like to get a grip on what the semi-mainstream is saying. When I say semi-mainstream, they're not mainstream, but they're not quite alternative either. They're kind of in the middle. And I like to listen to those voices to get an idea of where the people's consciousness is at. And I'm a little disappointed. But you know what? I'm excited too because things are moving. Things are going to be moving so fast this year. Our heads are going to be spinning. And, and that kind of, I saw a post that is just so timely and so resonated with me that I had to read it to you. It was Laura Matsu that said, "What a wild time to be alive. One side thinks it's the golden age, and the other is convinced it's the dark age." It really makes you see how we can live in completely different realities depending on how we perceive the world. Our mind truly creates the world. And this is all about timelines, guys. Some people have chosen a negative timeline. They've actively chosen it. We have to respect that. Let's not try and argue with them, debate them. Be very mindful of what you give energy and who you listen to, because your reality is being created through every single thought, word, and action that you take every single day in every moment. It doesn't mean that you've got to be blind to, things that you may need to be concerned about, signals and that kind of thing. I'm not saying close your ears and eyes. I'm saying have a sense of neutrality. Look at those things in a totally neutral state and then assess and see if you resonate with it, if it makes sense, if it rings true for you. Because your intuition will never let you down. I've said this before. It will literally never let you down. We are in the stage of this war where there is a splitting of timelines, and you need to know that, and you need to know that you choose your timeline in every moment. So, clear the doubt, clear the confusion in your mind, pick a side and stick to it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to or choose the golden age. You can choose the dark age. It's completely your decision, but at least stick to your decision. Okay, that's all I'm saying. And this same lady that I mentioned, she brought up a very interesting story. You remember The Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. In the opening line of that book, this was set during the French Revolution, and this was the last time Pluto was in Aquarius. And Pluto has just entered Aquarius again. Yeah. And this was such a profound statement of the extreme contradiction and polarities that are happening again now, 24/7, 24/7, 247 years later, with Pluto being in Aquarius again. And it read in chapter 1, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness, it was the epoch of belief, it was the epoch of incredulity, it was the season of light, it was the season of darkness, it was the spring of hope, it was the winter of despair. We had everything before us, we had nothing before us, we were all going direct to heaven, we were all going direct the other way. In short, the period was so far like the present period that some, what does it say? I can't see that word there. I hate these like telegram things. Anyway. Now I've lost it completely. Anyway, I can't read the rest of it. But you got the gist of it, right? So, for some people, it just is a glorious time and they're having the best time ever. And they feel so in their element and they feel so blessed to be alive at this time, to see the shift on earth. But for others, it's a dark time and they choose that dark time. And there's nothing that you can do to convince them otherwise. So let them choose what they need to, because they are contracted to do and choose certain things because they still have certain lessons to learn. They still have certain experiences to have, to be had, in this plane of existence. So respect that. Don't become quantum entangled within their decision, and choose with all your heart what direction you want to take and what, how do you want to move forward. Is it a golden age for you? Then choose it, go for it, believe it, and live it in every single moment. Because guess what? We make our reality. That's the trick of it all. We've been tricked into believing others do this to us when we are actually the ones that create this reality ourselves. And this is what the archons have done. They've tricked us into creating a reality for ourselves that benefits them and keeps us small. And because they know, even if we don't know it, they know how powerful we are as creative beings. We're starting to get little inklings of it. Some people are starting to realize it. Others have no idea. And they just give their power away every single day, in every single moment. And they don't trust their instincts. They don't trust their gut. And they don't choose a golden age for themselves, And maybe it's absolutely the right path for them. But I just know it's not the path for me. I'm choosing the golden age. I'm choosing a grand future. I'm choosing abundance. I'm choosing freedom. I'm choosing sovereignty. I'm choosing grace. I'm choosing light. I'm choosing love. I'm choosing gratitude. I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing harmony. I'm choosing kindness. I'm choosing compassion. And that'll be my world. Watch me. So either join this ride with me or go the other way, but don't drag me with you. I'm not coming. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that issue. I am just seeing really good things unfold, and finally, everything in South Africa will be revealed as well. That said, I don't really get much involved with the local politics. I can't listen to all these people that just babble, 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 babble. Fill your head with word salads. Much of it might be true. Does it really matter? Does it really matter in today's day in terms of where we're moving? Not really. Just, don't get so distracted. Don't waste your time with all this babble babble. Just choose wisely. Choose wisely what you spend your energy and your time and your focus on, because that's going to become your world. And if you're not going to spend your time going within and unlocking your own creative powers, then you're going to be swept away by whatever propaganda comes along. And you're not going to be creating your own reality. You're not going to be creating this golden age that you really actually wanted. So just be mindful, be very discerning, and be very careful. And more than anything, just choose every day to be happy, to be content, to let go of fear, to live in an abundance mindset. Just be what you want to have and see around you in the world. I promise you, it's the most powerful thing that you can ever do. And there's so much supporting us, so much solar activity, geomagnetic storms, solar flares. I had a look at the Schumann resonance, and we had a little blackout yesterday, which means actually it's probably so off the charts it can't even be read by that technology. That's why you see a blackout. And often blackouts will indicate timeline jumps. Okay. We then have that opportunity to jump into any timeline we want. Is it the golden age timeline or the dark ages timeline? You choose. Really, it's your decision, because we're going to be seeing more of this polarity and more of this duality play out in the end days of the closing of the old world and the opening up of the new world. This duality is going to become stronger until it's just going to pop. So, you really have to do the inner work to get to a place of utter contentment, no fear, and knowing that you can be happy in every single moment. You don't need things, you don't need events, you don't need other people to make you happy. You make yourself happy. And, you are the creator of your own reality, as I said. So Earth is having a lot of solar flares. I think there's going to be a lot of Earth events as well that will continue. In the financial sector, I don't want to make any predictions, but I think something is close to popping. Just yesterday, we had news of Barclays, who told customers to contact food banks as an IT glitch has disrupted. Sorry, IT glitch disruption entered a third day. So for 3 days, they were down. So they were telling people to go to food banks, really. So I don't know. Something is brewing. Something is brewing in the UK as well. Um, News of Britain being very close to total bankruptcy. And actually, we know they're already bankrupt. But anyway, for the mainstream media, they are almost bankrupt. The ever-increasing weight of officialdom is dragging the country into a pit that even the boldest growth plan can't escape. So how are we going to get out of all this debt? Well, we're going to be bankrupting all of these corporations, fake, fraudulent corporations masquerading as governments set up by the Rothschilds, and still going until this day. And we are, what's happening with my camera? So we're going to be we're going to be bankrupting the corporations, the queen corporations, and all of the fraudulent corporations that have been set up around the world to control resources and people and create debt slaves out of us. And we're going to be going back to the original republics, and there will be no more debt. So that is also the beginning of Dasara Nasara. Now, just to go back to USAID, the website has been disabled. I can't speak today. It's been disabled. So if you go to usaid.gov, it's not there anymore. And no, it's not a glitch. It's been down for, I don't know, more than 2 days now. We saw Elon Musk going in there and actually declaring USAID as a criminal organization. Yeah. It's all coming down because USAID is actually not there to aid other countries, believe it or not. It's actually there. It actually doesn't even stand for, it doesn't mean USAID. It means United States of America International Development. So they use that vehicle and that tool to go in and control other countries. That's what they do. And taxpayer money spent, the amount was, I don't know, I think this is 3 trillion, if I'm not mistaken. It's got so many different, decibels. Was it 3 billion? Could be 3 billion. So it's pretty crazy. And this is now exposing itself as the biggest money laundering scheme in almost all of the world. And not even 2 weeks since Trump took office, he's already destroying it. He's going in hard and fast. I mean, this guy's not wasting any time. The amount of things that they've been doing in 2 weeks is actually mind-blowing. It's dizzying, to be quite honest. And there was another post that I wanted to read you from Deep Dives. This person said, thinking out loud, so don't take this as fact. Given all the time we spent on deep dives digging into false flags, especially the Sandy Hook hoax, we might consider alternative narratives. The White Hats can also manufacture false flags, but for good reason. What if there were no bodies in these planes, which I believe? This is my opinion, not saying it's fact. Commercial airplanes with passengers flying over no-fly zones in DC? Really? What if you had good people come forward to tell the truth about what goes on behind the scenes with those entities, i.e. the figure skating world? And then they go into witness protection. Wait till we reveal more on the figure skating world, which is another cesspool. What if crashes are a cover and death via plane crash are their way out? Think JFK Jr., baddies exposed along the way. History repeating itself, such as the 1961 plane crash versus the 2025 DC plane crash. Yes. Why? Reversing curses, unwinding the spells, doing everything twice. It's the only way. White Hats, Alliance, Trump, God, in control. Just saying. And of course, I shared with you guys the gematria of those 2 plane crashes, which both came to 9/11. Yes, I kid you not. And ice was a big theme for that as well. So guys, yeah, I'm just saying there's a lot of very interesting similarities. Back to USAID. USAID essentially functions as one of the many money laundering machines for the Democrats in DC. And I'm not just the Democrats, but all the corrupt politicians, okay? They're actually on both sides, but mainly on the Democrat side. Here's how it works. Activists create obscure NGO. Dems fund it lavishly. NGO does bare minimum or actively hurts the United States. Activists get paid and donate to Dems. Not only that, but USAID helped spread their gender ideology nonsense and brought millions of illegals into our country. That's why Democrats are freaking out about the possibility that USAID is being shut down by President Trump. It needs to be done. Has anything good ever come out of USAID? Sure, but we don't have the money to be the world's piggy bank. And they've been an overall disaster that works harder to prop up left-wing NGOs than they do to help people. America voted to end this farce. So Elon is very much in on this exposure. Oops. Let's not knock the microphone over. That won't be good. And another post on the Schumann resonance, which I enjoyed, said the energy in the ether is on fire. We just timeline jumped. Again, this person also knows about the timeline jump. The old system is collapsing. The rats are fleeing, and the swamp is being drained publicly and undeniably. But don't mistake this for an easy victory. Make no mistake that the global DSBM isn't weak, that it could be toppled by a few executive orders, a stroke of a pen, or a handful of mean tweets. This is a long, methodical takedown to rid these parasites deeply rooted in the system for many decades, have been in motion through covert military operations for years. Exactly what I said as well, right? As the top high up levels of the pyramid are seized, neutralized, and flipped, the infiltration into the lower ranks intensifies, and this is what we are seeing now. The minions, once shielded by their handlers, are now left exposed, betrayed by the very system they served and pledged fealty to. And the fallout is devastating. The chaos at the massive bottom of the pyramid is a nuclear wrecking ball, as desperate lower-tier operatives turn on each other, grasping for any lifeline that no longer exists. Remember this, many of these DS puppets serve multiple masters. They've made conflicting promises, broken countless laws, engaged in heinous crimes. Before I forget, I have to mention this. And Zelensky of the U country have just come out to say, well, actually, we didn't receive all the money that was given by the US in aid, which should be almost $200 billion. He says they only received $75 million. Is he also maybe working for new masters now? Does he have a new puppet master? He might just. We know that he was just a tool being used. And perhaps he cannot turn against these old masters if it is to save his life, right? Sometimes you got to hear it from the horse's mouth. Or on CNN. The normies always believe it when it's on CNN. So either the horse's mouth or CNN, I guess, will do it for them. It says, now paranoia and stress reigns. These people are mentally and spiritually depleted, drowning in bad karma, cutthroat betrayals, backstabbing, and toxic self-destruction. The current reality, trust no one mentality, every man for himself attitude, with narcissist and sociopath personalities consumed by fear, hearing voices whispering in the dark, maybe the devil itself talking, manipulated by unseen negative entities, siphoning their life force energy, weakening their auric fields, leaving them completely exposed without any connection or protection from the one creator source God, because that's what they chose. They chose to be disconnected from that one source creator. And now, they have to deal with that karma, unfortunately. And it said further, add in a diet of GMO and processed food poisons, fluoridated tap water, sodas or coffee, big pharma drugs, street drugs, alcohol, paid sex, high radiation AirPods, frying their brains, injected and EMF pollution, saturating the environment in a damaged body vessel that's navigating in Earth's flood of higher energy within its Great Awakening shift. It's guaranteed first-class ticket to a crash and burn scenario. Yep, I would say that sounds about right. Meanwhile, the White Hats have receipts on every move they make. All of this must be exposed on the world stage for humanity to witness and fully grasp the depth of their deception and depravity. The storm is here. When it rains, it floods. The 3D matrix is being washed away. The only way through is to master your own quantum realm and navigate from the eye of the storm. That's right. Master navigating from the eye of the storm. I love it. Your home is prepped, your energy is sharp, your mind is calm, your auric field is expanded, and your gas tank is full. Most importantly, your connection to Source God remains powerful. The Self Master is activated, and this universe will conspire for you. I like that. Just another little bit of information. I think I've reported on that before, but I think it's worth being repeated. So there was a post from Codes about Christ's bloodline, and it read, "The Druze have existed, holding the same beliefs they exist in now, since time eternal, and not only for the 1,000 years they were known historically as the Druze, the evidence of such existence is lately confirmed by the discovery of an exact match between the Druze DNA and Christ's DNA. The Druze of the Levant are acknowledged on an official level to be true descendants of Jesus Christ. The Druze preserve their ancient Gnostic descendants through strict marital laws, which they passed on from one generation to another and which they still practice to this day and age. Abraham Lincoln was Abraham Kaluni of the Druze bloodline, from the line of the Davidic kings and descendants of Jethro, the priest of Midian in the Bible and the Torah. They descend from the Druze ethnic minority that inhabited the Golan Heights area of Israel from the town of Kunaitara, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and Majdal Shams. And before that, the town of Kalunia in Mount Lebanon, just 45 kilometers southeast of Beirut. Abraham Lincoln had 4 children with wife Mary Todd Lincoln. Robert Todd Lincoln, William Wallace Lincoln, Edward Baker Lincoln, and Tad Lincoln, 2 of which were sent to Libya to live. They didn't die as recorded. And I think we've heard this story multiple times, but for those that haven't heard it, we'll repeat it. These were William Wallace Lincoln and his brother Tad Lincoln. William Wallace was brought to Benghazi, Libya in 1863. They changed his identity and was raised by the Sanusi royal family of Libya and living in that country for the rest of his life. William became known as Omar Mukhtar, the biggest figure in Libyan history. They have towns, streets, and town squares named after him all over Libya. The great freedom fighter fought against the Italian military invasion of Libya from 1911 until his arrest near Caves Valley, 180 kilometers east of Benghazi, on Friday, the 11th of September again, 1931, when he was defending those holy valleys of Marcus the Evangelist, Valley of the Bible, and Mary's Lake in the region of CYRIL, 280 kilometers east of Benghazi. He was transferred to face trial on Tuesday, 15th of September, 1931, held by Italian military tribunal in Benghazi. The trial ended in just one day. He was sentenced to death and was hung on Wednesday, 16th of September, 1931, at age 81, in the town of Solok, 50 kilometers south of Benghazi, in Libya. William had 3 daughters and 1 son, Saida, Galilea, and Mary. His only son was taken and shot by the Italian military police in downtown Benghazi in 1942. Mary, William's daughter, met and married a prince, Said Issa Kaluni, from Golan Heights, born in the orchards in Mount Lebanon. The family tree of Issa Kaluni is well known in Lebanon, Syria, and Israel. Issa means Jesus. They arrived at the port of Derna in Libya in March 1911. They had 2 boys who were both kidnapped from Benghazi and handed over to mafia boss family Joseph Kennedy, and was raised by him and his wife Rose Kennedy. They would later be known as John F. Kennedy and Joe Kennedy. John F. Kennedy was raised to become the 35th president of the United States. He's not a Kennedy, he's actually a Lincoln Kaluni. John married Jackie Kennedy and had 4 children, Arabella, John F. Kennedy Jr., Patrick, and Caroline. Patrick and Arabella didn't die as recorded. Patrick Kennedy was flown to Libya. Joe Kennedy, President John F. Kennedy's brother, was Michael and Charles Flynn's father. Interesting. John F. Kennedy was Ezra Cohen Watnick's grandfather. Dad Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's son, was Donald Trump, and Elvis Presley's grandfather. Now you understand Trump's fascination with Lincoln and why Elvis, the Elvis impersonator that is, sang at his inauguration. Elvis, Trump, Assange, Lincoln Collooney, JFK, Joseph, John F. Kennedy Jr., and Patrick are all Lincoln Collooney and are cousins. All of them are direct descendants of the Crust bloodline. Interesting, isn't it? Then just back to the financial side of things. Like if you really wanted to pay off the debt, all of the debt of the US, which is now, is it 36 trillion? I think it's 36 trillion, somewhere around there. Now, Rob Cunningham just asked, what if President Trump is paying off the national debt with XRP while implementing the quantum financial system? There's a thought. There's a little video that I shared on my Telegram channel, if you guys want to check that out. I think we're going to see some interesting things in the world of finance in the days and weeks to come. Could this be the big crash? We know kind of the stock market has to kind of crash because the US dollar, which is linked to, which the Fed prints, which is linked to the corporation, must fall as well for the US federal note. Treasury note to be reborn as the new currency of the US. For that, the stock market will need to crash and a few other things. And once the dollar crashes, we will see gold and silver explode. And remember, there is all but 4 states in the US that have already agreed that gold is money. So you can trade with gold. You can buy legally with gold. They have gold-backed currency, and there's only 4 states left. I think it's Hawaii, Maine, New Mexico, and I forgot the 4th one. So that is very interesting, guys. And we just saw a couple of trillion, I think it's 3 trillion wiped out in the crypto market today. Big losses with Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Dogecoin, and a few others. Could this be the big dip before the big rise? Who knows? But I think things are definitely gearing up for something interesting. I'm not going to go through all the news today because it was meant to be a short update. But I will say this. I'm very excited. It was just announced Apple has made a deal with Starlink, which means that the phone will be able to connect direct with Starlink. There's been a lot of rumors that Apple was actually already bought over or taken over, shall I say. I don't know if it's true, but you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's all I know. So, in other words, Apple will switch to satellite when there's no signal. That's pretty intense tech, somebody said. So, very exciting times. All I want to leave you with is just be very mindful of your own mindset, okay? Because that will determine how things unfold for you. Have a positive mindset. I'm not saying be naive and be fooled by stuff, but have a positive mindset because that's what's going to see you through. And, you know, send fear away. Fear has no place in your life. It has no purpose. It's there to bring you down. That's all. Unless you're running from a lion, you don't need it in your life. really. The way that they've brought in fear into every aspect of our lives is totally unnatural, and we are changing that. There's going to be so much coming out. It's going to be an exciting time. So I want you to have a positive mindset, and I want you to be excited and encouraged for the year ahead. It's going to be action-packed. So, just be in a positive mindset. That's all I ask of you. We had a wonderful event, a gathering in Cape Town this past Saturday for our latest New Earth gathering, Cape Town gathering. I had Farah Weir. She calls herself a quantum bridge connector. Very, very gifted at what she does. And we had an astrologer, which is also, she's also kind of more quantum focused. And we had her sort of look at the planetary alignments for the year ahead. And it's going to be fast and furious. That's all I can say. But suffice to say, it was an incredible gathering, incredible information shared with those that attended. We had it at the healing sanctuary that I built with my husband, Mount Liu Sanctuary, in our Temple of the Tao, where we do these kinds of gatherings. And it was really great. So for those Cape Townians that haven't joined us, I hope you can join us next time. I'm not sure if we will have one in February. I find them quite time consuming to organize, and unless I have some help, I have to limit the number of things I take on. So by the way, if there's anyone that wants to help, especially with digital stuff, helping with RSVPs, newsletters, social media, all of these things that I don't have time for, please reach out to live@vividearth.org and we can have a chat. But I'll definitely be doing one for the solstice in March, 21st of March, I think it is, because that'll be another very important marker astrologically and energy-wise. So we'll definitely do an event for that, and we'll do more of these gatherings this year. And this is the age of Aquarius, so it's all about community. It's all about coming together, learning, growing together, coming up with solutions, new ways of governing ourselves and our countries. And this is where the inspiration happens, when we come together and sharing ideas. So I hope you'll join us. If you want to be informed of those, please make sure you sign up on my website, vividearth.org. The link is below. There'll be a box that pops up on the website if you hover for a few seconds, and then you can just sign up for the newsletter, and you'll be informed of any future events or anything happening or any interesting blog posts that we do post from time to time. And just make sure you subscribe on this channel, you share the information, so we can still catch a few that are ready to open their eyes and learn and grow with us. It's going to be a year of transformation. Many, many more people will wake up, but many, many will decide not to, and we have to respect that. We're going to see the two timelines playing out. We're going to see the two realities and the bifurcation of these worlds happening. Some people reckon it's a trifurcation, actually, not a bifurcation. Magenta Pixie said something interesting, that there'll be an artificial AI timeline. There will be a malevolent and a benevolent AI timeline playing out. And then there'll be a third timeline, which will be totally organic, those that don't choose either. And I can kind of see that in my mind's eye. So it's going to be interesting. But just know that this is the biggest event in 19 billion years. It's never been done before. It's never been done. Never before was a planet that has fallen from 5 to 3D been able to rise up again into 5D. So it's a huge experiment. We are at the cusp of this big shift of the ages and the shift of the planet into 5D. Some reckon we're already there, but consciously, subconsciously, it's like we haven't recognized it yet. So it's a monumental time to be alive and to be part of this mission, which you came for, by the way, to all the way to Earth. So let's just be grateful for this incredible time and realize how blessed we are, and wake up every day with love and gratitude in our hearts. That's the key, right? So make sure you subscribe to all our channels, Telegram link below as well. We look forward to seeing you there, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm sending you all much love.